Welcome to Vibrant Gujarat Regional Conference 2025. I am Manan Pathak, Senior Manager at Gujarat Energy Research and Management Institute. Welcome you all to the panel discussion on from fossil to green fuels, balancing hydrocarbon transitions and bioenergy innovations. Before we begin the panel session, I welcome all our dignitaries to come forward for the dais. Let me welcome all our speakers, Mr. Devashish Chakravarti sir. Please come, sir. He is a Germany expert and a former general manager at ONGC. Mr. Subodh Kumar sir, he is an advisor at Indian Federations of Green Energy and former ED at IOCL. Mr. Suniti Bhatt sir, he is a former founder and MD of Saran Energy Private Limited, India. Mr. Neeraj Sinha sir, he is a director explorations, Reliance Industries. Professor Sanjay Kumar sir, he is a professor at Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Petroleum Technology. Dr. Tushar Patil sir, he is assistant vice president corporate strategy Praj Industries. And Mr. Jayesh Parikh sir, he is the chairman managing director Chem Process Systems Private Limited. I request Dr. Zahid sir to please welcome our speakers with a bouquet. I request Zahid sir to please come forward to welcome our moderator Dr. Devashish Chakravarti sir. I request Santosh sir to please welcome our speaker Dr. Subodh Kumar sir with a bouquet. I request Rashid sir to please come forward and welcome our speaker, Mr. Suniti Bhatt sir. I again request Zahid sir to please come forward to welcome our speaker, Dr. Neeraj Sinha sir. I request Santosh sir to please come forward to welcome our speaker, Professor Sanjay Kumar sir. I request Rashid sir to please come forward to welcome our speaker, Dr. Tushar Patil sir. I request Himanshu Desai sir to please come forward and welcome our speaker, Mr. Jayesh Parikh sir. Now I would like to hand over my mic to the moderator. Sir, floor is yours.
I just make a small announcement before the session begins. Sometime during the session, being in progress, Honorable Minister, the Additional Chief Secretary and the MDGUVNL, they may be visiting. They are actually planning to visit all the 10 concurrent systems which are going on from time to time in this place, in different rooms. So they will come, they will sit, they will observe, the flow will continue, nothing will stop. It will continue. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, eminent panelist and worthy audience. May I extend a warm welcome to all of you in a session which is trying to reduce the global warming. The global energy scape, if I may use the word, connecting energy and landscape, is at a crossroads now. As you all know, it's seeing a transition. It's not that the energy transition is something new to the human beings. Right from the beginning of the human civilization, energy transition is taking place. From the gathered firewoods to the bio-waste, to coal, to oil, and to natural gas. But all these transitions, transformations have been normal, natural, smooth, and rather overlapping. Here, at this juncture of the civilization, perhaps we are trying to introduce for the first time a forced transition with as little overlapping as possible to save the humankind, to save Mother Nature. So with that background, we are here today in this hall with 5 very eminent personalities from both from the conventional oil and gas sector as well as from the biofuel sector. Today we'll be talking from fossil fuels to biofuels. Here in this same room last evening, those of you who were there, we have spoken about geothermal energy, ocean energy, wave energy. So today we'll be talking about biofuel. What a perfect place to talk about this transition from conventional oil and gas. We are sitting in Mehsana, which is surrounded by many oil fields. Sobhasan, Nandasan, Balol, Jotana, we can name many. So with that in background, we'll start today's deliberation. Let me just tell you the flow, how it will go. We will have our 5 panelists speaking about 5 to 6 minutes each on the topic in general, their wisdom, and they will share with us. Followed by which we will have a few questions. Both me and my co-moderator, Mr. Subodh, will have some questions. I will be handling the hydrocarbon questions. You will be handling the biofuel questions. After that, we will request them to sum up, and then we'll throw the house open for interaction, deliberations, and discussions. We like to have more questions because, after all, it's because of you. Everyone has come here. But be pertinent. So with that, I will request my co-moderator, Mr. Subodh, to say a few words and start the proceeding.
Thank you, Dr. Chakravarti, for the setting up the context. So why biofuel or bioenergy? So, see, whatever people are talking about green energy and all, that could be their fad, that could be their fashion, that could be their, but not the passion. Unfortunately or fortunately, India, we are in such a position that we import around 85% of our carbon in the form of the crude oil, in the form of coal, in the form of the plastics, and unknowingly we are importing so much of it. And this is creating a lot of you can say imbalance in the current account of the import and export. So that is the economic problem. Another problem is there, that the environment problem. We are still burning the fossil fuel, imported fossil fuel. So idea here is that how best we can handle this thing, that whatever the molecules, carbon molecules are available with us, which we can utilize them at the best of our ability. Now with this, the biofuel program started way back in 2003 in this country. First obvious thing was to do the ethanol. So we have reached the ethanol right from the 2003 to now this year. We have already reached the 20% blending in the petrol and gasoline. And then parallelly a controversy has started whether these vehicles can withstand more than 20%, and even at a 20% there are people who write in Twitter and other social media, no, they are damaging our cars and all those things. So people here in Ahmedabad who are, I see a lot of younger crowd, but I used to be in this city 25 years back, and the typical fuel for a 3-wheeler was kerosene and burnt engine oil. So if your engines were sustaining those kind of fancy fuels, so alcohol is not that bad. At least for the vehicle. It is banned, of course, in this state. But so that is one story is there. You might have seen the newspaper reports now. For 20% blending, we required 1,000 crore liter of ethanol. This year, what has happened? The offer has come 1,700 crore liter. Extra 700 crore liter. Where it will go? I will ask Dr. Tushar Patil on that to elaborate on that. So that is one story. But gasoline is only 29 to 30 million tons of our consumption. Major consumption is diesel, 90 million tons. What happened to that? We are not able to blend. We don't have the biodiesel, the feedstock, which is required for the blending in diesel. What we should do that there? Another thing is there, we use a lot of natural gas. Now, we use around 50 million ton of natural gas, 48 to 50 million ton. 50% of that is imported. Whether you believe me or not, the country has the potential of producing the biogas. Biogas and natural gas, they are same. Methane is the molecule there. 62 million ton is the potential which we can produce the biogas under the Satat program, a CBG, CGD intermingling program and all. So a lot of job is being worked there. Now 2 more animals have entered in this arena now. One is sustainable aviation fuel, because the aviation kerosene is there, ATF is kerosene, so how to blend there, and there, that is very sensitive fuel because human lives are involved, and recently you have seen one accident here in Ahmedabad. So the fuel quality has to be maintained very well. And another is the marine fuel, marine biofuel. Now coming to this thing, this is the energy sector, the fuel part. But the bioenergy or bioplastics, you have heard about that. People are talking about that, okay, let us go for the bioplastic, biomaterial, biochemicals. So a lot of things are there, means sky is the limit, and Gujarat is the place where all kind of innovation can be done. So with this I will stop my introduction of the topic, taking back to Dr. Chakravarti.
Thank you, sir. May I now request our panelist to set the motion, share your wisdom about the topic in general and your niche area in particular. So, may I start with Mr. Suniti Bhatt, sir?
So, thank you and good morning to all of you. Normally when you have somebody who does hydrocarbon exploration and all, and we talk in there, we say, okay, what is the relationship? Because in a sense you start looking at, okay, how are we going to move away from hydrocarbons into what the future that we all envisage to? I think the way I look at it, I think we need to break this thing into 2 parts. You talked about hydrocarbons. In a way, you also talked about hydrocarbons, right? As a nation, we face two fundamental issues. I think we are a growing economy, we are a growing nation, and therefore our energy needs are going to grow, right? If you look at human history over the last few centuries, you can correlate the quality of life of any part of the world with the ease with which that particular population is able to access energy and the cost at which it is able to access the energy. If your access to energy is easy and the cost at which you are able to access that energy is easy, normally your economic and growth and general well-being as a society goes up. So I think that is the overarching goal of everything that we should do. Right? As a nation, we import most of our energy. So the first thing we need to do is figure out how that is going to come down. I personally, long back when I used to be in college, we used to have a biogas plant in there. So that itself is an interesting way of doing it, because you are now looking at, while carbon is still your main source of converting and delivering energy to your needs, but you're looking at getting that generated all the time using things that are available to you. At least on the face of it, it looks like there is a lot more unlimited supply to it than a traditional hydrocarbon that is matured in the reservoirs deep below the ground. So that's one way. So therefore, we can see in the biogas piece, the carbon molecule will still play a large part in delivering the energy in an efficient way to the way we consume energy. It will rely on a lot of traditional industries that are used to manipulating the carbon from one form to other to see if we can drive efficiency in there, because no matter what I do, The way we move carbon from one state to another state and generate energy for ourselves is a very inefficient process. So traditional industries like ourselves will still have a role to play in driving that efficiency, so that for every unit of energy that gets consumed, the amount of carbon that is either used in this process or that gets released into the atmosphere and therefore causes all the havocs that we are all worried about. And COVID sort of showed us that if it comes down, things do change, right? So the traditional industry will still start to have to focus a lot more on that. I'm sure somewhere you will have seen in this conference and other conferences things like carbon capture and underground storage. That's a way of seeing that, okay, can I reduce the amount of raw carbon through a traditional way of extracting energy for myself? So that is something we'll need to work on, yet not commercial. Everyone, the technology partners, the companies that use this technology, including plus the stakeholders, the state governments, the central governments, everybody will need to come together to figure out how do we as a society make sure that we are able to do it at a scale and therefore drop the overall carbon footprint. That's one part. Second part is, you know, long back when I was a student and we used to study physics, I mean, everybody knows about Isaac Newton, right? Then Isaac Newton was told, how did he discover, you know, the whole gravity and the whole laws of motion? His answer was that, look, nothing gets done by you standalone. He was standing on the shoulders of giants before he could see what is lying beyond the sea. So a lot of new revolutionary technologies that are yet to come or are about to come. In terms of hydrogen, green hydrogen. I mean, we're still talking about blue hydrogen in between green, and you start with gray, then you start with violet, blue, because all you're trying to do is remove carbon from in between this one and see that can you go straight to hydrogen. We'll rely on a lot of technologies that we have gotten used to, that we have used in the way we use carbon for our energy consumption. So we will have to rely and stand on, and therefore it is a transition. I don't believe it is going to be an immediate step change that suddenly one day we all say, okay, y'all is done, now let's go this way. I mean, there's a saying that the Stone Age ended, but we did not stop using stones. We still use stones for various things, but it is the way what we use them for, right? Same way carbon molecules will find a way, but the most inefficient way as of today for us as a human society is us burning them for energy and therefore creating other havocs which sometimes outweigh the benefits they give us. But the industry and the infrastructure it creates will still be very important for us to go from here today where we are to where we would like to be as a society, which is give clean, affordable and abundant energy for everybody in the country, so that our quality of life becomes better drastically. I mean, I think for us, for our kids, for future generations to come, that is the role that we will need to play collectively without trying to defend any one particular corner of energy generation or energy consumption. At least that's the way I look at it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Bhatt has given us his thoughts about how to tame the raw carbon and, kind of handle it, and also he emphasized that yes, it will take some time to tame it completely, but yes, how the hydrocarbon industry with its experience of handling carbons for so many years can actually be useful with further new technologies to come into to tame the raw carbon, as he says. I mean, I really like that word, so I'm repeating it again and again. So from the hydrocarbon expert, if I can go to Mr. Parikh, sir, to have your wisdom on the topic.
Hello. Thank you, sir. Giving me the opportunity to talk further on. But being an engineer and from Gujarat, I always believe, okay, let us start doing it. Because this concept, what we talk about on various platforms, I came across, Subodhji about 5.5 years back. And being in innovative field, doing many industries process solution, which was basically meant for the, sustainability. Maybe it is recycling of water, maybe it is creating a byproduct or product from the waste stream. And so such many achievement we had done. And then the thing was also in our mind since last 8 years, what we do about carbon emissions. And from there, we started doing innovation. And that innovation has led us to many, many large tech term and lots of opportunity, lots of thinking which can not only prosper entrepreneur, but it can give a big, big opportunity to the new generation of Gujarat and also India. The reason is we are sitting on the biomass. And the biomass is more than, if you look at India, more than 40,000 million metric tons. Very simple calculation which we do. Even if we stop burning all of them, it can reduce 2.5 degrees of India. But how to do achieve it? And that is where we come in picture, say, look, my colleague is here, he will speak more about the Praj, because Praj took initiative about 15 years back, and we took about 6 years back. Inspired by, this mission that we have to join into the global warming stoppages, reduce the hydrocarbon use, reduce the fossil fuel based product, which may be plastics, which may be resin, which may be additives, which may be many things which comes out maybe from the after recovering the petrol or diesel, whatever is left over. So we have to find out a new crude, and the new crude is in biomass. The biomass contains cellulose, hemicellulose, and a wonder chemicals called lignin. When I met Subodhji, Praj is working in Paris, he said, why don't you work on the hard biomass? Because as per his study, he says hard biomass, like what we call about Gujarat, we have highest growing cottons since 100 years. And that biomass is burned, because when I was in my village, we used to collect it in a small hut and do all my hot water generation for bathing, so that we know. And that has been happening. But as modernization take place, nobody does that now. Because everybody switch on the geyser, even in the village also. So this biomass is presently going as a burning. But when I talk to many people who started making pellet or biochar, it does not give value unless until you being a Gujarat, unless you don't make it commercially viable. All innovations out of 199 dies. So that is where we started working. So Gujarat has, now I am coming back onto the project that Gujarat has got, if even I talk about Gujarat, has more than about, if you look at entire this thing, more than about 5 million to 10 million cotton stocks which is available. It is official figure, and out of that we can do decentralization. Now what we think on biomass, that people where biomass is regular supply chain is what Praj has picked up, because they being in a distillery industries on the bagasse. But what about non-bagasse that we were talking to Subodhji long back? You have a juliflora which is wildly grown. This was brought as a to stop the desert, but now it is right up to Tamil Nadu. Araval is full of juliflora. We have corn cobs. America is suffering from the corn cobs. It cannot be biodigested so quickly. We have rice straw, wheat straw. So initiative started by the CBG. Now CBG also, the conversion from the cow dung, it has very low potential, because majority of the cellulose, hemicellulose, which is responsible to get fermented and make biogas, is not there. So cow dung can be used as an inoculum. So CBG, green chemistry, green product. That what we started focusing on the Gujarat biomass, and we have done complete research since last 8 years, and we are producing cellulose, hemicellulose and lignin on a commercial basis. First of its kind plant probably in India on hard biomass. And this we have further researched that cellulose to many applications like microcrystalline cellulose, which can go in a many applications. We have got PHA, which is going through the microbial route. We make PHA out of it, which can be a very basic raw material for the bioplastics. That we have already made. We have made xylitol, and also enzymes are available. Research is going on to develop indigenous enzymes which can reduce the biofuel cost. Biofuel has been done, but cost has to compete with the imported one. Anything which innovation will work only on the cost basis, because nobody is going to pay more cost than even if it is highly green. So there also we are working on decentralized. If we have cellulose and hemicellulose, small factory, like he says well, now there are small wells, and that it comes to gathering center, and then they do send it to refinery for the furthering. So here also all this hard stock you can collect from various states, various villages. There can be a FPO system, there can be a bank where they are paid for at least 1 or 2 rupees, or they are given now machinery, or this FPO can have their own machinery and can bring back those waste to a various small scale industries, which is decentralized. Every Gujarat has potential to put at least 160 such small 100 tons per day biofractionation plant, which will take lot many employment. So that is a use scope which model we already made and first has started. So from cellulose we have done many things. There is another product in the biomass is hemicellulose. From hemicellulose we have made xylitol, we have made furfural, we have made, and these are all we are trying to optimize so that it is commercially available, cheaper than China also. Then we have a lignin, and from lignin we have 100% made biocompostable plastics. We have blended it PP, LDP, HDP, PBAT, which has come lesser cost than the available plastic cost. We have made resin, which has replaced the phenol, which goes into the many way into plywood as a flame retardant. We have working, and we have already commercialized on rubber. It is a good chemical which has got anti-UV properties, antioxidant properties. So on. India imports 50% of natural rubber. Problem with the Kerala and Meghalaya productivity is not that much. And rubber you cannot. Rubber is 1,000-year-old bioproduct. And we see everywhere the rubber. Where you get rubber from? From the tree. Will tree survive? Are people ready to do lots of Kerala and all ready to now? Are their children ready to do those collection and send it to someone? So this challenge we have done with our college rubber department. We have made natural latex, blending this. This is also natural material, which is also biopolymer. So biopolymer blending, which can really stop India's import. And we are working very closely with few Corallian company. So this is what we foresee. That I foresee within 5-10 years. I see so many mushrooming like distillery. There was no distillery before. Now you see in Maharashtra everywhere is the distillery. So this is also a biorefinery, biofraction plant, which can be completely decentralized, India-centric, be it Bihar or be it Maharashtra or be it is. That is what I am working on biofractions, which have got many advantages, straight away linked with carbon reduction, circular economy, and sustainability. Thank you, sir. This is what I do, and this is what I think.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Parikh, you have given an excellent, it's not a brief, it's quite a lot of, quite a good amount of brief on the availability of biomass, scientifically talking about the biomass, different kind of biomass, the infrastructures that's coming up, not only in Gujarat but other part of the country. What are the different kind of biomass that can be, that are right now not being utilized elsewhere, like as you said, Kerala, that can be utilized. But the spirit of all what you said is, what I like is, do it now and do it commercially. And if there is one place in India which is an expert in doing it and believing it, is Gujarat. So we are sitting in the right place. So which, like what Mr. Parikh said, is what the global community thought in COP26. Where it was a COP26 where in Paris, where every global country, every country around the world, they decided, they pledged that they will have a net zero by 2030, 2040, 2050. Honorable Prime Minister of India committed 2070, and he pledged a Panchamrit, as we know. So that mission was also, do it now. Time has come. Do it now. Thank you, Mr. Parikh. Let's go back to, once again, to one expert from oil and gas. May I request Mr. Neeraj Sinha to share your wisdom, please, sir.
Hello. So thanks again for the invite to Jeremy and Dr. Roy. We are in transition that shows the way we are sitting here, right? The oil and gas professionals and the biofuel and green energy experts, right? So that, and I have not attended any session which has, blended this kind of a experts and brought them together on the same stage. So that itself shows that we are in transition, and we have to understand each other, work with each other maybe down the line. So the other point I want to make is Mr. Bhatt mentioned about the Stone Age. So there is I hope definitely you know the quote by the Saudi oil minister, ex-oil minister, Yamini. He said that Stone Age did not end because of the lack of stone. Because new technology evolved, and then Stone Age had to finish, and then iron and copper and bronze, and everything followed. So oil age will not end because of the lack of oil, but the demand will go down. So it is only the demand scenario which is going to, and that demand scenario is going to be affected by what will happen in the green energy area. Now, when we talk of green energy, being an oil and gas professional, yesterday we had this geothermal session. Reliance as a company, we have embarked upon multiple areas which are not oil and gas but related to oil and gas. Why I say that? Basically, the technology. When I say geothermal, so drilling technology, fracking technology, all are related to the oil and gas technology. So those can be readily imported, of course, with some difference. Then we have to tweak those technologies because of the high temperatures that we are going. We talk of hydrogen. There are different categories of hydrogen, and I don't want to go into details, but green to gray and blue and orange also, and then of course the white, or the natural hydrogen that we call it. Now the question may come again. If you talk of white hydrogen, then it is an area very closely related to oil and gas again. Why I say that? Because white hydrogen or natural hydrogen is generated by decomposition or serpentinization of the ophiolites. Now, ophiolites have been mapped out by GSI, Geological Survey of India, throughout India, but it has to exist at a certain depth, at a certain temperature. The water has to reach 200 degrees C or so, at least 100 degrees C plus, to decompose or serpentinize the ophiolites and then generate the hydrogen. That mapping of the subsurface is that data is not there. Somebody has to start working on that, and that's what we have started. Baby steps, I'll say, we have taken in that area and in specific locales, not throughout India. So that is a huge area of innovation that can be done in that. Hydrogen is a lightest gas, right? So it will come out if it is there in the subsurface. That is for a given. And I have seen maps all over the world of where hydrogen leakages have happened. And you might have read about hydrogen in Mali and some US basins, Kansas, for example. You get what you call fairy circles. So when hydrogen leaks, it will create those round circles in which, because of the presence of hydrogen, this vegetation will die down because of the presence of hydrogen. So that surface expressions of those leakages can be mapped out, and that can be linked down to the subsurface, which is the ophiolites. So these are very niche areas, very new areas where people are working on. And I've seen at least, I've talked to 10 companies myself, which have started working in the natural hydrogen area, mostly based in UK and US and Australia, in those areas. So that is again an area where a lot of scope for academia, and so Germany or IIT Gandhinagar, for example, who are the next door neighbors for you, and companies like Reliance or ONGC or whoever are interested in can come forward. So what the message I'm trying to give is that transition will happen. It is definitely going to happen. A couple of days back, BP publishes their World Energy Outlook, and every year they come to our offices and present to us their views. So it was just 2 days back they presented. And in a couple of scenarios they present is like, 2030, and then very gradual, peak oil demand is going to flatten out and then maybe decline beyond 2040 or 2050. But in a scenario in which the green thing is faster, be it fuel efficiency or be it other sources of energy, which is I mean, I understand that we have already achieved the 2030 target of solar this year itself. So if that pace grows still faster, 35 gigawatts per year, I understand the solar capacity, and then some of the new things like geothermal or hydrogen comes in, and take it from me, geothermal hydrogen is not like you just like that you do that and it's going to start giving energy source to India. It will take at least from today as we speak to, at least 5 years to 7 years to giving value, if I may. And value, when you say talked about the cost thing, so cost is very important. New technology will help us in reducing costs for geothermal. Hydrogen, we have to again drill deeper. We have to drill through faults. I'll give one very important example, which is very fond. Cornwall in UK, there is a company, geothermal company. I forgot the name of the company, but they wanted to drill a geothermal well, and they mapped out a fault, and they were doing this study for almost 10-15 years. So when they finally decided to drill the well, they got the funding. They drilled the well at 5,000 meters into the fault zone, and they drilled another well, I think 500 or 1 kilometer shallower in the same fault zone. And what they wanted to do, they wanted to pump in water in that bottom well and produce water, heated water from the upper well, that is a production well. That was their plan. Now when they pumped in water in the lower well and then opened the production well, they collected the water and then they did all the analysis on the water. They found that it is not that water they pumped in, it is some different water. They dated it and they found that it is 20,000 years old, right? So that water has gone somewhere. It will come when it will come, nobody knows. But this connate water, underground water that is there for 20,000 years, that started producing, right? So, and when they analyzed the water chemistry, they found that this is rich in lithium. So their whole project of generating power from those, those two wells, it died down, and now they are shifted their business model to producing lithium. It's 220 milligrams per liter of lithium, which is much above the cutoff that they should have. So I think there are those kind of, information highways there, right? Today, I get overloaded with these kind of, and you have to digest, and then you have to process, and then you have to convince your business, partners within your company to invest where you want to invest. So what I want to say, transition is going to happen, but how it will happen, when it will happen, it will take 2 decades or 3 decades. That is anybody's guess. I'm not that expert to frankly tell on that. So that is my view on how we'll go with the transition. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Sinha, for your brief and talking about the various about hydrogen and the surprise discovery of 20,000-year-old water with lithium. Yeah, perhaps as we all know that the focus was not there. Even you see about yesterday there was a session on critical minerals. So we are revisiting those leftover mines, leftover areas. Yes, our focus needs to change. We have seen those things are around, but yes, our focus needs to change. Interestingly, I'm talking about 20% ethanol, but on this dais we have 50-50. We have 2 experts from hydrocarbon, 2 experts from biofuel, and 1 from the academia. So you can say almost 50-50 if we can have the academia as an umpire or as a referee. So with 2 hydrocarbon experts speaking, now I go to the second expert from our biofuel industry, Dr. Tushar Patil, please.
Thanks for inviting us in this key session. The major what energy transition we are observing for the what rightly mentioned by hydrocarbon guys. It's a complementary to existing fuel system. So what our vision is very clear that the basic principles for energy transitions are not to overlap each other, but to have a smooth transition by creating a sustainable, economically viable and environment friendly technologies. So very clearly when you say oil refinery as a all products starting from naphtha cracker to your gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, your bitumen, so all those products can be created from the biorefinery. So if you take the similar carbon of any raw material as the agrarian country, if we found that all those technologies are making sense for the economically viable, sustainable and environment friendly, then crude can be replaced in future with the bio. Very clearly as an agrarian country, we are having very three basic principles: feedstock, technology, product. All those three area, if we go with the innovation and keeping farmer as a centric point. Why bio came in picture? First, Atmanirbharta. Second, create a rural jobs. Third, make a farmer's income double. And fourth, reduce the import. Climate came later. But when we develop technologies across say more than 100 plus countries, 1000 plus projects across globe, we found that developing countries are coming very particularly on a bio with different mechanisms to create impact on global south. And when we call global south as a focus for bio innovation, we have to pitch ourselves to the global standards with all benchmarks. For example, 2G ethanol developed from the rice straw or agricultural residue. So in Asia, it is the first initiative taken by Government of India. So we have to be very proud that government is supporting this energy transition, keeping the theme of bio. And for bio, it's just like FTP model. There are all those 6 pillars of government which are supporting that FTP model, make a smooth transition to use the carbon above the ground. So you have to be a biogenic carbon creator and utilizer company in future to develop that carbon into different molecules. So first, when ethanol came in the picture, it was molasses and grain and starch, all those stuff. Then gaseous economy came, CBG, ring gas, hydrogen has come. But when we saw that our transport, say 13% plus emissions are happening, 5% we are also doing in air. So can we build sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, to blend in jet fuel? Marine is contributing as per Blue Ocean strategy 3.6%. So can we reduce that sulfur and make marine green? So it's a complementary rather than competition. We should do the transition where how much maximum we can blend. If yes, we are 100% dependent on our own crude, definitely nobody will think that okay, go with the all bio stuff, but we are dependent. So reducing a forex, reducing a carbon, creating a rural employment, creating a farmers as a centric point, bio came in picture. And as a Praj Industries, say 4+ decades they are working in this sector, we found that new technologies, of course technologies of green molecules are always costlier because it says having its own mechanism to build the things and convert that into the energy what we require. So innovation is the now the time to implement for the commercial applications. So for example, sir mentioned lignin. So we prepared lignin, extracted lignin, created a road of biobitumen. So each molecule, if we see that, okay, gasoline replaced with ethanol, not replace, blend, go step by step. Diesel can be blend with the isobutanol, go step by step. Aviation fuel, go with sustainable aviation fuel. 2%, 5%, 10%. It is not possible until the IC engines are there. We are not going to replace crude. But this is what technology ecosystem. But when other ecosystems are when connected to it, like automobile industry, Boeings, ship manufacturers, two-wheeler manufacturers. So all those angles, if we see everywhere now, it's pushed to make much more Atmanirbharta under this entire bioeconomy system. And when GDP going to contribute, sir, it's very clearly mentioned that IEA, that if we cross this 13 to 14% of bioeconomy development, this entire ecosystem of transition is going to create a big impact on global south, more than 25%, where India can be the hub of biofuel production, and we can export a maximum potential of our farmers' carbon to the globe, making ourselves much more sustainable. This is what I want to go to.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patil, for the message that I get, that it's not competition, it's complementary to each other. I think that was the essence of the entire thing. Of course, you talked about how the entire ecosystem, particularly the farmers, were going to be benefited. And you also stressed upon Atmanirbharta. Now, as I kind of told that Professor Kerr, being from the academia, and being in the academia, he is entitled to see both the spectrum equally. Not only these two spectrum, but perhaps the entire energy spectrum. And so I bring him, that's why, as a last speaker of this part of our session, to share his ideas, his wisdom regarding the topic today's topic. Professor Cursor.
Thank you, sir. I sit on the panel where stalwarts of the industry, probably I'm the youngest on the lot. And our match referee told me to play the role of umpire, but the captains are too strong. Okay, so let's play by the rule, and rule does govern. So I'll start where you started, sir. Energy transition. Why transition is important? It's not that we have not started transition. Transition is permanent. Everything else is static. We transition from stone age to other kind of options available to us. But all the time, we have seen that human being explode. So it's all about exploration, which Neeraj was talking about. That's whether it's a white hydrogen exploration, or we are conventional oil exploration, or shale gas exploration. All the cases is about the exploring. So what I see is that I was also in Gujarat some time back, 15 years, 16 years back, when Jeremy took this initiative to set up PDPU. Later on, PDPU converted into PDEU. So from petroleum to energy, the transition has happened, right? And I fondly recall that when this Vibrant Gujarat started, the objective was to kind of attracting investment into the state. But after a decade or so, we see that the purpose of Vibrant Gujarat is not to attract investment. The purpose of Vibrant Gujarat is to make other states come forward, join Gujarat, and what fondly call it the Gujarat model has probably crept into minds of other states. When I transitioned from Gujarat to UP, then I saw that what was Gujarat and what was UP then. Today, whether you talk about the infrastructure, road or electricity, most of the states are aspiring to be where Gujarat is. So that's again another kind of a transition we are seeing. And while traveling, I saw that agriculture in Gujarat is at par or maybe better than what we are looking at industry. It's not the normal agriculture. You see castor cultivation, you see cotton cultivation, Sir was talking about that how do you convert this biomass into energy. So when you look at the UP is also kind of a reach in terms of biomass resources. Gujarat has almost everything. When you talk about the world economy, US has everything. That's why they are close to 30 trillion economy. And we are hovering around that 4 trillion. When we are at 4 trillion, 4.5 trillion, 30 trillion feels the trigger and starts acting on that. So if we move in the direction where Gujarat has moved and other states join, probably we will be, if not 15 trillion, and 15 trillion economy would push the energy dynamics all across the world. So that is where we see that yes, transition has happened, but the pace of transition is what is important. That pace of transition, when most of the developed countries are looking at 2040, 2050, China looking at 2060, we have set our target for 2070. But 2070 is very conservative target. But we can see at the pace our industry captains are taking, we will be able to achieve that maybe before 2050. So when the hydrogen, for example, government said that okay, we are putting it hydrogen targets. The first hydrogen mission probably failed. I would say it's failed, and the second one is not going to fail. It is going to lead the world, and that has been the case so far. When we talk about that. Where is the gap? Why we are not able to catch that bus which is there? Probably what I would see is that when you look at the Western world, US or Europe, the gap between the industry and academia is far less than what we have here, right? So industry fed by the academia with the human resource, talent, other things, and the industry fits to the university systems for research. Most of the research are laid by industry in the apart from the government. So that part where industry, academia come together, organization like Germany come together to create that value for the society to observe. That's where I think we are missing that bus. Of course, industry captains investment that is coming forward. I was reading somewhere yesterday that yes, a professor from ISB, Rajendra Srivastava, he wrote that capital, without capital we are growing. So capital is not a constraint in Western world, whereas capital is a constraint in our country, right? But what we have, the positive part is that the human capital, which is the strength for us, capital will follow, right? And we have produced the human capital who are leading Google, who are leading Microsoft. You name any industry where Indians are not leading. So what is lacking over here? Is lacking over here is the acknowledging the talent which we have in our country. In every sphere, these guys will be able to do wonderful job. And I was reading just a few days back that there is a guy who went into IIT Bombay at the age of 19, and he decided to leave IIT Bombay, start his own project. The parents would have thought that this guy is going to complete BTech from IIT Bombay and get into a company, but then his idea was something else. So he started a company which has attracted some 30 million odd investment from US. So that is where the change in mindset, that mindset change would automatically transform, transition, and the forces, market forces which are not aligned towards India would certainly align towards India. And remember that we are one of the biggest, in fact the biggest consumer or potential consumer of services, products which are being produced, whether it's in terms of renewable energy or in terms of other kind of stuffs we are talking about. So in that case, where do we stand? And I sit in between that renewable vis-a-vis the conventional energy sources, but fortunately I work on both sides. Right. So in 2019, out of curiosity, I was kind of an oil and gas guy. started career. But then suddenly I felt that I should write something on hydrogen. When I wrote on hydrogen, submitted to one of the leading journals, the editor returned the paper with one comment, is that what you have written is not happening in India. The editor was not able to believe and appreciate. He says, whatever you have written is something like you are appraising what is happening in India, appraising. But we are not able to convince that editor. The basic reason is that people don't trust, believe that India can also achieve what others achieve. But unless until you execute it, people will not achieve. And probably today, we are in a better position, whether it's renewable, sustainable energy, biofuel, or conventional energy. We stand shoulder to shoulder with other parts of the world. So that is where we stand today. Now, it is not, as my colleague from Praj told, that it's not versus one other. It's about the complementarity and collaborating with each other, right? And partly when I was in IOCL corporate office meeting C&D, I was just reading through the vision, and Dr. Roy Saab was also from Indian Oil. Their vision statement doesn't talk about the oil. It's about the comprehensive energy. So is a comprehensive, that's the energy. And absolutely neither it is petrol or it is energy, it's about the molecule. You are referring to whether it's a hydrogen molecule or you are talking about carbon molecule. It's all about the molecule. The moment we talk about the molecule, then you have to take everything out of your mind, that we are not competing. We are just looking at a solution. The problem, entire society is facing certain problems. We are dealing with the problem with certain solutions, whether it comes from a chemistry or it comes from a biochemist or it's come from elsewhere, doesn't matter. But entire purpose is to solve the problem, which is there, solve the problem in the industry, serve the people. Now, when I see informed audience today, you appreciate that whatever government is doing may not be sufficient enough unless until consumers come forward and appreciate it. Whether you talk about EV or biofuel or about the putting tax on carbon fuel, so everything is to train us like AI model trains that yes, you have to also reorient yourself. So that reorientation and working together, conventional, non-conventional, and consumer side, all stakeholders coming forward. So Vibrant Gujarat or such meetings really bring all stakeholders into one platform to explore that. All options are available. We must take those options seriously and with the mindset that yes, there is acceptability, but cost is a factor. But I would appreciate Nirajji, company Reliance, which ensures that cost is not a problem all the time. Cost is a problem maybe for a short period of time. So cost has never been a problem. It's only making that cost affordable, and that's why the scalability is the case where Reliance works on. You recall that mobile phone, right? That service, you are paying 17 rupees, 18 rupees per unit. But then today we are talking about, the Prime Minister was talking about that the cost of 1 GB data is less than 1 cup of tea, right? So that's why we are looking at cost of tea has gone up. That's a different story. Okay, but yes, there is comparable factors because of scalability. A country like India, scalability is never going to be a problem if we find that solution which is indigenous one. Whether you talk about refinery, most of the technology for refinery is borrowed from elsewhere. We pay in dollar, then we set up the refinery. If you ask a refinery guy how the refinery operates from the design to the operation, probably that guy would say that, okay, let me check with my service provider. So that has to change. If we can have our own technology, the cost of everything will go down. And once cost has gone down, acceptability will go up. And consumer is ready. We have done that in case of hydrogen, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, EV. Every case we found that in India, young market is ready to accept the technology, even if it's little costly. We all know that green technology will be costly, right? But whether policies are directed to bring that cost down. Yes, as of now government is bringing as many as policy incentives that reduces that cost element, but again that creating the awareness in the market that yes, this is the future where we are heading. Viksit Bharat 2047, which government is looking at, is very much viable, and we have already created that impact. The world is starting to believe that. If you look at the top 5 economies, one at 30, another is 20 plus, right? The rest of our club together in the range of 5, right? So 1 year later we will be probably in the top third, but top third to second and first, that is a huge gap, and that gap need to be filled. Unless until we have our own technology, we will not be able to do that. Today, tariff is really creating problem, but if we are strong enough, that tariff barrier will be broken with our own indigenous technology. Human resource is always there. That capital will also flow. Country like Japan, if you put your money in bank, you have to pay, right? In South Korea, if you put money in the bank, you have to pay. In our country, at least we get some interest. We are happy that putting money in the bank, right? So where do you think that money will go? Like we have our super fast train in Gujarat. So the money will flow in that super fast mode to India only when we are ready to give that opportunity for investment. Everybody is looking for return on investment, right? So whether it's you talk about renewable energy or you talk about conventional energy. Conventional energy, lot of money is not coming right now, but if you look at that, Nidal sir said that whether the conventional energy or oil will remain or not, he said yes, it will remain. It has remained for 100 years plus. It will remain for a period, but repurposing is required, right? The repurposing will happen, and consumer with the chair which we are using, the computer which we are using, the camera which is recording, everywhere we require polymer, right? Whether he is referring to biopolymer, conventional polymer or biopolymer, but there is a market opportunity for everything we produce, and that price point has to be definitely at a range where consumer is ready to buy. If it is not, government is ready to give that incentive subsidy for short period of time, right? So that is going to happen in next 5-10 years period. We are going to compete with everybody without feeling that we are left out. We are going to lead. Hydrogen revolution, India is leading right now. It will continue to lead for another 10-15 years because we have buyer countries coming and investing. Imagine that a country like South Korea and Japan, they are coming and investing in a state like Orissa, Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu, where probably they have never thought that they would put money in a place like Gopalpur in Orissa, right? So money is not going to be a constraint. Capital is not a constraint. It's only the mindset and interest to pursue the objective which we have. Now, openness. That's another problem which we have. That openness not in terms of investment. Most of our universities in India, foreign students hardly come to study here. We only export our students to United States, Europe, where they go and study. All the stalwarts would like to send their kids to foreign universities because foreign universities, today we have feeling that America se padha hai to ladka bahut acha hai, right? A story is different. Oh, ladka, suppose they are not are able to get into IITs, they will get into MIT or Harvard. Let's acknowledge that, because in a country like India, scarcity is there, but there is the opportunity that our students, our kids will do wonderful job in our country. China has done that. China sent troops to United States. All universities are represented, well represented, and then 10 years later recalled back all those PhD scholars with a hefty amount of money to start their own projects, invest in the R&D projects and bring in new products. And that has brought huge amount of result from China. And I think what US is doing with India is good for us, that we will be feeling that आत्मनिर्भर है. हम दूसरों देश को ही दे सकते हैं, तो हमारी देश को क्यों नहीं दे सकते? We are going to give ourselves the opportunity to prove, yes, we are capable enough to lead the global revolution in R&D, global revolution in terms of services. IT sector has proven it, and other sectors are definitely going to prove it. One missing element, which has government already acknowledged, that consultancy. Today, none of our Indian companies are in top global 10 consultancy firms. So government has taken the steps that we should have our own consultancy firm which will lead the global revolution. Unless until we complete the circle, we will be left over. So let's look at that in energy, in all other domains, because energy cannot stand alone. It has to be integrated one. So integrated approach is going to happen. The university we are sitting here today is Ganpat University. President of this university sits in United States. 6 months he comes here, right? So he saw that in the United States, if it is possible, it is also possible in a place called Mehsana, where ONGC produces oil and then rest of India is consuming the oil, right? So that is possible. And you see, when I entered into the campus, walking, I saw their sustainability is clearly demonstrated in the campus. So everywhere greenery, and the campus is well designed, and this is where really the biogas, what we are talking about, can be experimented. Companies can come forward, collaboration can happen, academic institutions can demonstrate all the time. There are certain projects, the young students who are studying, they will feel that yes, this is possible.
So,
right, so it's taken to
sorry,
the
I
school.
wish we could
Yeah,
have
thank you,
gone
thank
ahead
you.
with you, but
Yeah.
with the time constraint, I'm
Yeah, my
extremely
closing.
sorry to
This is my closing
yeah,
one.
please. So thank you, Professor Kar, for your holistic approach and very leaving us with a very positive vibe. With the first part of our session that we have heard all of our five panelists, may I take this opportunity to ask a few questions? Maybe one to each panelist. May I start with Mr. Neeraj Sinha. Sir, with the global push towards net zero, demanding a rapid transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources, lot of the commitments are happening, lot of the we have been talking about, but at the same time, the world is seeing many magnificent hydrocarbon discoveries. Giants, particularly in the west coast of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, the east coast of Latin America. We can talk about Guyana, we can talk about Suriname, we can talk about Congo, Angola, Nigeria, Namibia. And we have locked up potentials, discovered resources, huge amount in Iran and Russia. So how do you foresee the monetization of these conventional resources being affected by the global energy transition of biofuels and renewables? As you said, as you yourself mentioned, that yes, there will be a time that demand will come down. If the demand comes down, maybe we will really be affordable. Can we really, will these resources remain underground, or can we monetize it, sir?
So, tough question to answer, but I'll try. S&P Global, they published their latest data on the gas price, for example, right? Oil price, different people have different this thing, and it always gets published day in and day out. S&P Global's this thing is that there will be a glut of gas in the next 5 years. The current, for example, in the case of India, if it is $9-10, right, per BTU, that is going to go down to 6.5 by 2030. Now, we as a company were planning our gas fields to come on board, especially east coast of India, and our price sensitivity was in the range of 7.5 to 8. So, the pertinent question is, what do we do now? So our projection was that, right? So then we have to rerun the whole economic model. Now, Mozambique, everybody might have heard, discovered almost 10 years back now, right? And still not come on board. I think ENI was the operator. Similarly, I think Tanzania also. So, gas has a problem because you have to transport, or even for producing in the ultra deep waters, We are currently producing from 2000 meters of water depth. And we are producing around 20-25 million standard cubic meters of gas per day. Stranded assets will be there, definitely. If it is oil, still I think it'll go on, but gas standard assets will be there. That is for a given. And I gave you our example that now we will struggle to, things may change, you never know. Geopolitical scenarios are controlling the way world is going, right? So, and India has been doing a very, I'll say a catwalk kind of a thing Mr. Modi has been doing on, trying to balance between US and Russia, and all those things are happening, right? And this will be pressured by the new energy, as we discussed. And I talked about geothermal and hydrogen and whatever else. So this will be pressured by those aspects also. So again, I'll say that difficult question to answer in a specific scenario. But as a company, we have been looking for, Reliance wants oil which is of very low quality, right? Because our refinery is very complex refinery, as they call it. So we used to import oil from Venezuela, which is now no more happening. We were looking at heavy oil in Canada and Venezuela itself. But now we are looking at Iraq again and other places where we can get, lower grade crude. So, I mean, those things are happening, and every company must be having their own strategies, especially those companies are in India or somewhere else. So, I mean, there is a very complex scenario, but you have to go case by case specific to that company, to that particular basin where they are located, and the gas price scenario, the oil price scenario for that. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sinha. May I now ask Mr. Bhatt one question, but maybe it has got two elements. When this transition movement started globally, we have seen that companies like ExxonMobil, BP, they have committed huge investment towards biofuel. At the last couple of years, we're seeing that they're backtracking. Very recently, you might have seen that BP has stopped it. Now, they have been in the hydrocarbon companies, MNCs have been pledging investment in biofuel, and now they are backtracking. Maybe the cost, and there are many things which, of course, time is not allowing now. First part of the question is, how do you see the Indian E&P companies in this evolving landscape? How do you perceive this? How do they save? Will they invest in the biofuel sector? Are they investing already in the biofuel sector? Second part of the question is, it was presumed that with this transition taking place, the investment globally for the conventional oil sector will go down, particularly the exploration. It happened for some time. But ironically, interestingly, it has again picked up. So how do you perceive the balancing of investment for a conventional oil company towards the conventional oil exploration as well as committing investment towards the biofuel?
Is an interesting take. For the last 2 to 3 years, I spent bulk of my life outside seeking capital for oil and gas developments that we are trying to do within Antelope and across the East Coast, West Coast, and Gujarat primarily. Right, the kind of headwinds we saw right after COVID in terms of availability of capital are vanishing. I think it will always be a changing scenario. It is a balance, but I have not seen a single instance whereby it completely shuts. Right, the way I look at what I call, let's say, renewable energy or biofuel. I mean, geothermal is the talk of the day. There's Bioenergy in US. It is sort of your R&D department of an energy company, right? If you are a company that is there to provide energy or generate energy, right, you will always be open to new forms of generating that energy, whichever way it comes in. I think we used to have this conversation, I've been in this oil and gas industry last 30 years, at one point about most of the gas that we used to be produced along with oil would get flared, right? And then gas reserves nobody would touch, commercial nahi hai, right? And then we saw the transition happen because there were some companies in the background that kept on working gas technologies, and you got LNG, you got liquefaction, you got transportation across sectors. I mean, there are enough stories that you can read now. There are stories now, but similar things are happening in every other company. I think while you might not read it, because a lot of the companies tend to keep these things sort of behind the curtain, but every company, believe me, every company from small to big is looking at a way of preserving its identity while supplying energy. It might move. Everybody will take a view on, is it a 5-year transition, 10-year transition, 15-year or a 2-year transition. But I do not know of a single company that I am aware of, from small to big, which does not have some people looking at or actively managing and doing R&D in other forms of generating energy. And what we see is a lot to drive with shareholder pressure, showing a return, not doing this. But BP started calling itself as BP Green, or that green logo came in when I used to work in Scotland. That was donkey's number of years ago. But again, Exxon will come back there. Some shareholder will pressure them. But fundamentally, within the boardrooms, you will always have a voice that will say, new business needs to come in, and that new business, all of us collectively as an industry know, is not going to be doing the same things we have been doing for the last 100 years. So that will keep on happening. And this new energy, this transition, new technologies are not here to go. They will come. It's just a little bit of balancing of the pendulum.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatt. May I now request Mr. Sudhi to kindly ask a question to for the biofuel experts.
Thank you. So when the biofuel thing starts, so the debate starts, food versus fuel. I will just take 1 minute on that. See, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, India's grain production was stagnant somewhere around 200 million ton. And suddenly, now these numbers are somewhere around 300 million ton. This 50% growth from 2011 onward, what miracle happened in this country? Right here in Gujarat, Sardar Sarovar Dam was commissioned, completed. What happened? Water availability in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra increased. And this delta of 100 million ton, almost 70% of that came from irrigated area of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. Now, I will talk another thing. Tell me a crop where only grain is grown and biomass is not there. So if you are producing 1 ton of grain, this number can differ crop to crop. You will be producing around 1.5 tons to 2.5 tons of biomass. See, Dr. Carr was talking about castor being produced around Mehsana and all. I was here in the 2000 to 2006. Those days, they were growing lemon and amla here in the same area. I used to come very often now. 10-15 years back, they have shifted to castor because of the two reasons. Was because all those lemon and amlas were stolen from the passerby. That was one reason. And second is today, because now the cattle doesn't eat this crop, and nobody has other use for this castor oil. So on 2 days back, I was one of the plants. They were converting that biomass into bio pellets. I asked him, why don't you use this castor biomass? They said, sir, it's not available. And I said, you're growing next door. It is being grown. What is presently being done? It is getting burnt. So, fuel, food, and feed. When I say feed, the feed for the industry and feed for the cattle, all will come from the soil. Challenge is water available? A lot of rains takes place, concentrated on a few hours or few days, and it goes away, and results in floods and all those things are there. So I will be asking this question to Jayesh Parekh ji, because how you see that this water availability and means food versus energy debate. How you see that? How you are solving this problem in Gujarat and maybe for India?
Thank you, sir. So it's a right question. We have lots of water. Water goes to the farms, and farms grows the whatever is consumed, what is required. But what is non-edible, where we already consume the water. And when we talk about distillery, 1 kiloliter of alcohol takes 10 liters of water. Gujarat is banned. Again, when you drink, you put the water. So you're consuming water. And that water is not. So that has to be a really thinking, though we talk about innovation, product, utilizations, commercialization, and what. But this water is really a challenging. So we have been working. We think that whatever biomass we take has at least 30 to 40% of moisture, whether it's cotton, whether it's castor stock, or whether it is juliflora, or whether it is whatever. So that water recycling, while doing the complete optimization of plant designing or process designing, this water has to become a raw material for the processing and producing the green gas or green chemicals or green, and that is where engineers and scientists and role comes into. And we have been working, so each and every drop of any natural resources without polluting the environment, be it in from the air pollution or be it is a ground pollution. So this is how we are working, and innovators has to work on this criteria. That is what I feel, sir.
Thank you, Parik sir. And then another question to Tushar, Dr. Tushar. So, see, now we are facing the problem of plenty on ethanol. The ethanol production has gone up like anything. Means we cannot go to, beyond 20% of blending, but this year itself, 70% more has come. So, how we are going to deal with this? What are your options?
Yes, sir. As a bioeconomy is growing strongly, say from 1,000 crore, it capacities went to 1,800 crores, and installation might be on 2,200 crores. So definitely, this 1,000 crores capacity utilization is the biggest challenge for the country. Now 20% is achieved. So next step, what as a technology engineering player we build as a convert that low carbon ethanol into aviation fuel first. So SAF is going to consume roughly say 500 crores liters to make a 1% blend indicative by say 2027 and 5% blend of sustainable aviation fuel by 2030 for all international flights. And if the domestic market comes, definitely this utilization is going to be happen. Now second is application of ethanol into diesel was tested, but due to flashpoint there was a challenge for the engines. So that capacity creation, we are thinking to use it for the gensets. So all stationary gensets, mobile towers. Now Kirloskar has come out with the gensets of 100% utilization of ethanol and produce the power. Now for the two-wheelers, automobile industry has geared up with flex fuels, FFV, hybrid FFVs, and recently in last year 19 models been launched by automobile industries to use ethanol beyond 20 and make E100 also. So IOCL itself has set 400 pumps of E100. So automobile industry is going to definitely take a major lead, but aviation sector is another sector where if 5% blend is going to be the mandate by Corsia or IATA to the government, then definitely we have to take that call. But seeing the capacity, if it is goes say another 500 crore liters, isobutanol is another molecule which directly get blended with the diesel. And diesel requirement, even if we go with today's requirements, 1100 to 1200 crore liters is IBA required for 5% blend in today's diesel consumption. So all those capacities can produce the IBA, and IBA will get consumed for the diesel blending. So I think we are in the right path for all three aviation or road or marine, and capacity creation will not get so much of hampered, but it will go on top.
Thank you, sir. We are just left with 4 minutes of our allotted time, and definitely we would like to have some queries. Before that, sir, Professor Kar, if there is one policy initiative you would like the government to implement, one policy, in one sentence, sir.
Okay. I think that one policy has to be, I will break into two parts. One is on biofuel, the other is on wind energy, that's offshore wind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now the house is open for questions. I will request that please be relevant and be precise, and kindly introduce yourself, and please tell that which panelist you want the question to be addressed to. Please. Yeah, there is a. Please give him. There's a question there. Sideways. Yeah.
You can ask directly.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Very small.
Good morning. This beautiful, wonderful panel here. And my question, I am Rajesh Pathak from Gujarat State Petroleum Corporation, heading the drilling and production operations. My question is from Professor Kar, that after hearing all this views on the biofuels and transition, is there any particular curriculum or the engineering branch or the transition branch which the government of Ministry of Education is planning to come up with to make the younger generation focus towards in that line, based on the research work or the progress being made throughout the country?
I think that's one interesting area, but I am not sure what Ministry of Education is doing. But in our institution, Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Petroleum Technology, we started a course on energy transition for executive officers. So I also saw that in UP government, even at technical level, diploma level, they have just through CII, they are doing this survey to bring in the new courses which relate to emerging transition requirements in multiple areas. So maybe start with a few courses initially as elective or some specific models, and move on to the full courses if market demands. Thank you.
That was really a very interesting question. We are left for time for only one more question. So yeah, please.
Yeah, I am Akshit from IIT Gandhinagar. So one question is recently one of the fuels. So RDF is considered as a green fuel or not? So it is one big question for circular economics. So right now this event, so there are lots of waste generation, but how to do? So this is one circular economy based question. So it is considered as a green fuel or not?
See, let us not bracket anything in a green or non-green kind of thing. See, RDF is a waste management problem.
Yes.
So we got to handle that. Now, presently what is happening, RDF, the cement industry has been asked to utilize the RDF. Till such time, we develop some better technology. Now, best technology for this is the gasification. You gasify it to syngas, take the hydrogen, take the carbon monoxide, and from the carbon monoxide, you add water gas shift reaction, you are having plenty of hydrogen. Now, whether it is green, black, brown, white, grey, hydrogen is hydrogen. So, the RDF can be handled through, best way is presently is through the gasification.
One more question. See, success of a panel discussion is a number of questions being asked. So definitely, sir, please go ahead.
Myself, Dr. Rashid, working in Germany. So we are working on biofuels, and we have the state-of-the-art lab. Especially, we are dealing with the AMPTS, enhancing the seeing the expo, what we can say the biogas enhancement. Sir, in this regard, what do you see the role of a bioenergy lab which is required in India? There is one lab we are discussing about the NSIB, which is sponsored by MNRE. So that kind of lab visit required in India, especially in Gujarat or in Germany. So what will the overpoint, and what are the instrumentation which are needed And what kind of facilities or tests need to be done in that, please, sir?
So we lack in that area. Like you mentioned, only one institute in Kapurthala, that is part of MNRE. They are having these kind of facilities, and these kind of facilities are required in almost entire geography, because these samples cannot be sent long distances. But at least every state should have one. So, like we discussed in morning, that Germany can be one of the organization where these kind of labs can be set up. Not only the regular biofuel, but the new things which are coming, the sustainable aviation fuel, very stringent testing is required for that thing. So those kind of labs, the marine fuel, the bioplastics, the biomaterial, the n number of things are coming. So
Thank you.
In addition, sir, what actually India's requirement is there for the certification and labs. See, to qualify our fuel as a low carbon fuel to export either at SAP or 2G ethanol, we have to certify that one. And to meet the parameter, we have to send for certain parameters our samples to outside country. If we make our own standards, first requirement is our own standard, own mechanism, and then certification. So these three steps, if institute like this is going to be come for the India as a leading thing, definitely industry will support.
We will get in touch with you, and we will find out where all you have been sending your samples to for whatever testing that you are doing. We will find that out, and we will try and do what we can.
Yes, sir, that is the need of the day, not only for the fuel, whatever biochemicals, whatever bioplastic, even end product. We are facing severe problem in benchmarking, and presently we are dependent on only Europe getting the certification, and even if there is a good humongous opportunity to export such biochemicals, the benchmarking and testing is not available. It's difficult. We have checked with all the IITs and wherever. So that is the need of the day. Otherwise, this innovation will stay here only.
You are having this organization in Germany, sitting here in Gandhi.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great step, sir.
Thank you, everyone. I think we have overstepped our time for five minutes. With all of your permission, I'd like to wind up this session with a profuse sense of gratitude and thanks to the eminent panelist as well as my co-moderator. I hand over the microphone to Mr.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for sparing your time to share your expertise, thoughts, and views on the topic like hydrofuels and bioenergy. As a token of love from Vibrant Gujarat Regional Conference Seminar Committee, we would like to felicitate all our speakers. I request Zahir sir to please come forward and felicitate our speaker, Sri Jayesh Parikh sir. I request audience to please have a huge round of applause for the same. Jayesh Parikh sir. I request Santosh sir to please come forward and welcome, felicitate our speaker, Dr. Tushar Patil sir. I request Rasid sir to please come forward and felicitate our speaker, Professor Sanjay Kumarkar sir. I request Zahir sir again to please come forward to felicitate our speaker, Neeraj Sinha sir. I request Rajesh Pathak sir to please come forward and felicitate our speaker, Mr. Suniti Bhatt sir. I request Santosh sir again to please come forward to felicitate our moderators, Mr. Subodh Kumar sir. I request Rasid sir again to please come forward to felicitate our moderator, Mr. Devashish Chakravarti sir. May I request all the speakers to please come forward for a group photograph, please. Thank you.